man, like certain people, we just gonna keep going. We ain't gonna pull over for gas. This is John Bear in the house, left-handed in the house, and it must be that
It must
favorite
be
day everybody
Tuesday.
loves. There you go.
It
Yada
must
Bear
be
says it.
Tuesday.
We got our foot on the gas, man, like we running from the cops, and we're about to pull over for some gas. You heard
Yeah,
me?
that was mind
Listen,
blowing.
man, that was like one of the like
That was
you couldn't tell
hilarious.
somebody that. We down in the sports talk. You're in the right place. Down in the sports talk Tuesday night. We're in the building. Um, I was just telling Yada Bear about the story about the guy in California. I think it
Yeah,
was. He was running from the cops, and he pulled over for gas.
it's hilarious.
Yeah, you heard me right. He was running from the cops and driving his car, whatever, high speed chase, whatever. And the helicopter was on him in the whole nine. And he pulled over in listen, I gotta do it, Browski. Shell gas station,
Yeah,
and like Browski said, filled up his tank
he definitely did.
and got away.
Here's a question: when he eventually does get caught, do they add thief thievery of the gas, theft of gas, along with the list of charges because he didn't pay for the gas?
Right. Well, listen.
Is that going to be on the
See,
list of
here's my
charges
thing
too?
on that. Now, how do you do that without paying for it these days? I thought you gotta pay for it
I thought
first.
you had to put your card in, but I don't know. Things might be different in
Yeah.
California. California
Listen,
might be a little
hey,
loosey
Kimmy.
goosey.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, different states do have different things. Because it's bugged out that Jersey, it's illegal for you to pump your own gas.
Wow. Yeah.
That's crazy, right? You go to
Hmm.
Jersey, they got people specifically to pump your gas. It's illegal
Yeah.
for you to pump your own gas. So I mean, different states have different things. But this dude, he gets the criminal-minded Batman Villain of the Year award. This dude made listen. I heard about it and I said, nah, this can't be right. He pulled over for gas. This dude literally was
Now
running
he
from the
pulled over.
cops and pulled all the way over for gas.
Yeah.
This
Got
is
out the
this
car and
is the
everything.
this is 2025, the year of the craziness, and it don't stop. Listen, this year gone by so fast, man. Labor Day is next week.
Yes.
Football season is September 4th.
Yep.
Brasky's about to be in rare form, y'all. Football
About to
season.
be in
Y'all
rare
don't know Brasky's
form. You
about to
already
be.
know.
Excuse me, her Super Bowl champion. That's how we have to. That's how it was deemed by
Uh huh.
the great High Ceilings, aka Browski,
Don't
that
worry.
we have to address her
Next
squad.
next week it's gonna be a flag back there. Gonna be an Eagles flag back there.
Oh, last year, okay. So we got to give her that. We got to give her that, man. You know what I mean? She is the reigning Super Bowl and defending Super Bowl champion, right?
Exactly.
Um. So what's the deal, Brasky? What we doing? Where we at with you? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited. Football season around the corner. We just had a little taste of some college football this past weekend. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Baseball season is now, ramping down. We're fighting for position. Postseason is right around the corner. Um, so the season is changing, and it's the best season about to pop off where eventually we have all four sports playing at the same time because you got basketball season about to pop soon.
That's gonna be crazy.
Hockey's coming around the corner,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
this is one of the best times of the
Mm-hmm.
year for us sports fans where we have basically sports on TV almost every day of the week. Coming up soon.
And we could sprinkle in a major fight while we at it. Canelo and Terrence Crawford while we at it. So it's a virtual smorgasbord that's coming
It
up this
is.
fall. Like Brasky mentioned, we got a taste of some college football this weekend, week zero. Somebody went 3-0 in their picks. I ain't gonna say no names. But it was very, very entertaining and refreshing to see college football back, like, real college football. And again, Brasky, you know how I give it up. And this year, He's going to be a perfect example of what we talked about the last couple of years. But now I think it's going to be at the kind of the apex because every week you're going to have a bowl game.
Basically,
Every week.
yeah.
It starts off Texas and Ohio State. Now, here's my theory, Browski. And this is why I love talking to Yada Bear because she's going to give it back to me how she feels, and I ain't mad at that, right? This is my theory on Texas and the college football season early, week one, out the gate. I don't think they wanted to put Ohio State at number two for the simple fact that out the gate, you're going to have number one and number two playing out the gate. Somebody's going to get knocked out the box early. Then, to make matters even, to add the more flavor on top of it, you got Miami and Notre Dame. I can't wait to get into that. Like, that rivalry right there, I just get heated just even thinking that. And both of these teams are good. We're expected to be good anyway, right? Then you've got Bill Belichick making his debut. So it's just off the hook. And then you're gonna have your remote batteries popping because your baseball teams are in pennant races,
Correct.
right? And then and then you got the WNBA that it's around like, hey, we over here, doing their thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So again, it's so much to talk about, but how we gonna flip it, we just gonna get around the thing. But today we gonna definitely get into our 2025 AFC preview. We're gonna leave the NFC for next week, right? Because we're gonna really get busy with that. I know Yada Bear can't wait to really get in depth with her Eagles, and we're gonna do that next week. And I got you on the Buccaneers. You already know what it is. Tampa Bay Buccaneers next week, Philadelphia Eagles next week, and we play each other. So Yada Bear might not be on the That's well. But anyway, we in the building, man, doing what we do,
Mm.
man. Where we gonna start, Brodsky? AFC preview, NCAA, WNBA, MLB. Where you want to start?
Um. Well, we might as well start with college football since we're already talking about it. Since we're
All
already
right,
there.
college football. It is. Um, well,
Well.
I feel like it's off to a start that a lot of people are expecting a lot of things. It's going to be hard to kind of like just keep abreast of what's going on, especially in college football, because you got so many teams clamoring for the number 1 spot. But here's the thing: at the end of the day, you got teams clamoring for 12 spots, right, Browski?
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you want your resume going into that when they start having those playoff polls and things of that nature. Everybody's resume gonna be messed up.
Mhm.
Who's gonna be undefeated,
Who
right?
knows?
So
I mean,
that's
that.
why I'm kind of like, go ahead, Kimmy.
Nah, I was gonna say it may not be any undefeated um, teams this year. Who
Mm,
knows? The way they set up the
right,
schedule.
right. The way the schedules are lined
The
up.
schedule
Yup.
is set up. Who knows?
Yeah, man.
I mean, we like you said, we start out the gate extremely hot. You know, Texas, Ohio State, which is crazy. 1-3. So out the gate, we're gonna know who who everybody's gonna be looking up to. You know, straight from the door. It could be Texas. It could be Ohio State. Ohio State, um, defending national champions. They may feel a little slighted by being ranked 3 instead of 1. Um, and then you got Texas, who have the golden child, Arch Manning. The legacy continues of the Manning family of quarterbacks, and we saw like a small sample size of them last year with Texas. a lot of it was, a lot of gimmick plays,
Yeah.
him using
Hmm.
his legs more than his arm. Well, this year is all about him. So we want to see if he has the arm like his uncles. If that man and name gonna still reign supreme in the college ranks as a college quarterback, and if all these NFL teams just out there just looking for the next QB, is he going to be the guy? And he has a chance.
Right. When does the Tank? When does the Tank Davis
Yeah,
start?
exactly. Because he has the chance to show right now. This is his NFL audition right here, to going against the defending national champions. If he come out there and ball out, he basically solidified him being the number one overall pick in next year's draft. Even if
And
they
he'll have the. And
lose,
he'll have. Hmm. Go ahead.
even if they lose the game, but he has a great game and he's not the reason why they lost. He basically stamped being the number one overall draft pick if he comes out this year. And most likely he will be coming out this year. But it's a big game for him. Um, Also, one thing when I was looking at this schedule for this next week, what's
Hmm.
interesting is that the Bill Belichick, playing TCU on Monday as a solo game. Only football game on TV will be two unranked teams. Not the national defending champion, not the number one overall team, not the two, not the four, or the 15. It's two unranked teams, but one just happened to be coached by one of the greatest football coaches to ever walk the earth, in Bill Belichick, making his collegiate debut.
Ain't that? Ain't
Um,
that? Ain't that a beating?
and
Right.
yeah, making against TCU on
Right.
Monday, Labor Day at 8 p.m. on ESPN.
Prime
So
time, baby.
basically, Monday Night Football for Bill
Right.
Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels. We're not talking about basketball. We're not talking about, these. We ain't talking about basketball. We're
Right.
talking about football. North Carolina football is going to be the marquee game of this whole
They ain't talk.
holiday
They ain't
weekend.
talking about North Carolina football since Lawrence Taylor.
Exactly. And this game is on a Monday night on
Word up.
ESPN on a holiday. That's crazy. Like when you think about
Yep.
that, you be like, oh man, North Carolina must be the number one ranked team in the country. Or North Carolina must, be the defending national champion. Oh, wait a minute. They just got Bill Belichick as a head coach.
Hmm.
So that,
Yeah.
you
Let's throw
know,
them on national TV
we're
in
gonna
front
put
of
them on national
everybody.
TV on the first game. So this right here could be amazing, or it could be very disappointing for Bill Belichick, because if they go out there and it throws a stinker, oh my God, everybody is
Tuesday,
going to
Tuesday
be
morning, Tuesday morning, get up and
woo.
all that's gonna be
They're
bananas.
gonna they're gonna be getting up and getting down on Bill Belichick, stating that maybe he needs to
That's,
stop coaching. Okay, he may
right,
not throw.
right, right, right. He needs to stop coaching. Right, right.
Yeah, so
Somebody needs to check for Bill Belichick. Right, right, right.
for
No doubt.
real on Tuesday. Go ahead.
But I think when you talk about this Texas and Ohio State game, um, you know, you got two clash of the Titans. You got the defending national champion Ohio State, Ryan Day, finally, got his team together. Then you got Texas, who suffered that defeat against Ohio State. Um, is this going to be about getting back at Ohio State, or is it about getting that keeping the number one ranking because they've never been number one before?
Yeah,
And for me, I don't really trust Texas. Like, no disrespect to Steve Sarkisian, no disrespect to what they get ready to do down there in Texas, but I think that always something. It's always a chink and something always happens. and I'm thinking that maybe Ohio State, they got a tough road to hoe this season, right? Um, but those games are at home. The game that they have to worry about on the road is against Michigan. They got to go to the big house. So I
But
think
that's at the
Ohio
end of
State,
the year.
whoever ends up winning the national championship, is going to deserve it. Absolutely, they're going to deserve it. So when you start out with teams with games like Texas and Ohio State, then
Mhm.
people talk about LSU and Clemson. You know where we
Mhm.
at with Clemson. You know what I mean? I think that you know this weekend, Alabama's playing a big game, Georgia's playing a big game. Like it's all over the place, and this it don't just don't stop with week one. It goes throughout the whole entire season. So what we're doing right now is just we're talking about how we feel and how things look, but a lot of transfers going on, the portal and this and that. So a lot of teams don't really look different. They're going to be going in with new situations going on, all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we talk about Texas and Ohio State. What's the biggest thing, in your opinion, Browski, that Texas has to do to win this game in against the Ohio State Buckeyes on Saturday?
Not turn the ball over. You know, having Manning back there, it's going to be a lot of pressure on him. Everybody, nobody's talking about Ohio State. You know, Ohio State is second fiddle when we talk about Texas because everybody is looking at Arch Manning. You know, he's the crown jewel of this
Right.
draft that's coming up. So the key thing for Texas to me is not to turn the ball over because we know how Ohio State defense can be. You know, sometimes we don't know what Ohio State defense we're gonna get. You know, you might get the Ohio State defense that's shutting everything down. You know, or as we have seen, last season, we can get the Ohio State defense that let you put up 35. Let you put up 31. And then they come back and beat you with a last second field goal, Um, but I truly think the key is for Manning to just not turn the ball over. Um, trust his coaches and really like see how and just be accurate. He has
Mm-hmm.
one returning receiver from last year. The other one he's in the league now, so hopefully he has that rapport with him. And Texas defense got to show up too. They can't just give up all the points. They gotta. It can't be a shootout. I'm not expecting this game to be a shootout. Hopefully
Mm.
it's like a steady pace game because if it's a shootout, then both these teams are in trouble because their defense is not what they're presented to be. It can't be a shootout. I'm looking for maybe like a 27-24 game, maybe 30-33, maybe. I'm looking for the the margin to be at least 3 points. Right now, the line is at
Okay.
2.5. So I see
Mm.
by field. I see whoever win by a field goal. If it's if this team combine, if they put up like a total of like 60 points, it's their defense is they got a lot of work to do on defense, and at the end of the year, neither one of these teams will be number one because you can't be
Mm.
giving up 20 points.
That's right.
Um,
That's right.
how you feel?
Um, you talk about defense. Ohio State. I mean, Matt Patricia is running that defense now. His first game is to go and match wits with Steve Sarkisian and match wits
Yeah.
and try to stop Arch Manning. You know what I mean? I think bringing back Caleb Downs, who's supposed to be one of the best players in the nation, back there, safety for Ohio State, is going to be a good matchup to watch. You know what I mean? You mentioned Texas and their receiving core. I think they have a sophomore coming back. Um,
Hmm.
and then I think this is going to be a good game. It's going to be. Um, I think when you say 60 points, I don't, if that's going to be outside of the norm, I think both teams combine for 60. I
Yeah,
think
that's gonna be
you
crazy.
know, if somebody can, kind of like make a couple of stops, I think it's going to come down to maybe the last 2 minutes of the game. You know what I mean? And like you said, both teams are going to be moving on each other. So if Arch Manning is moving the ball up and down the field, then that doesn't bode well for the Texas defense. And the same thing on the other side with Texas. If their defense is not holding Ohio State back,
Hmm.
I think that just saying the quarterback for Ohio State, if he has a big game, because this, like you
Yeah,
said, this is supposed to be about Arch Manning, period.
yeah,
And I think that is a newspaper type, locker room material type thing for the Ohio State defense. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Arch Manning coming into our house, we're the defending national champs,
yeah.
right? Um, and the way people are talking is like Ohio State is the one with the point to prove
For real.
because Archie Manning and those guys, even though this is basically a rematch, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But the stakes are going to be now it's week one, and that just bows my point what I said earlier about every game being like a college football playoff or a bowl game. It's crazy.
No,
But this is
that
what the
definitely.
alignment of the conferences and everybody, 18 teams in the Big 12, and you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. So as fans and as people who talk about it, for me, I kind of like it. At first, I was like, "How are we going to keep up?" But now it's like, the cream rises to the top. The teams that we're going to talk about all season long, your Ohio State, your Texas, your Georgias, your LSU, your Penn States. Nobody's talking about them. I'm sleeping on Penn State if you ask me, Browski. I'm sleeping on them. Um, I'm just kind of like trying to see where we're going to be with Carson Beck. You know,
Yeah.
he transferred from Georgia to Miami, and I think that we're not going to be that high octane offense that we had with Cam Ward last season because we lost a lot. I think we lost 14 starters.
Yeah.
So Mario Cristobal has got some work to do. You know,
Yeah.
but I think our defense will be up to the task. I think that Notre Dame they're coming into the game. Um, the kid Jeremiah Love, that running back was. That's what we got to key on. We have to key on Jeremiah Love. I think that the red shirt freshman quarterback that Notre Dame has, we can put some pressure on him because again, he's going to have to use Jeremiah Love in a lot of situations because we're coming. In Miami, that blitz is coming. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when you talk about that, that's a lot of pressure. The Catholics versus the convicts, storyline from 1988 or whatever. That's what it is. We've moved on from that. But if you was there back then, Browski, it was nothing nice. It was a nothing nice. And how we looked at it as it's like a really like a Super Bowl of college football. It was so crazy. You had Lou Holtz, you had Jimmy Johnson. Both teams was crazy nice. And the Catholics versus the convicts thing, it just kind of like all the way out of proportion. But Miami played up to that. Like the teams and they was yo. Could I say this on T? They was busting teams' ass. Miami was getting it. But here we are in 2025, Miami and Notre Dame. I'm excited for it because Miami's my squad. Um, this matchup, another mega matchup in a week full of mega matchups to start the season off. Which game, Browski, if you had a bunch of TVs, which game would be the first game you would look at out of all the games this weekend? The ones we mentioned.
I would have to say Clemson LSU
Mm,
because
okay.
I just need to see the hype of Clemson.
Right, right.
The whole off season we've been hearing Clemson this, Clemson that, Clemson this, Clemson may go undefeated. This is the best
Right.
Clemson team that
Really? Right.
I had for a long time. And I'm like, well, I mean, you had a guy named Deshaun Watson. Like you won a national championship, but this right here is the best team who hasn't won anything yet. This is the best team yet. So I'm interested in seeing that, and also LSU. They got the ninth ranking. See if LSU can bounce back. They've been up and down.
Hmm.
For the last couple of years. I think that's a good game to watch. I'm also gonna throw out another game that it's not a
Uh-huh.
national game, but it's a game that I'm interested in seeing, and that's
Okay.
Delaware State game because you get to see my man, Deshaun Jackson, coach. That'll be his coaching debut, and
That could be
see
interesting.
what type of talent he was able to muster up there, and see how his vision for this program is going to look, and hopefully they give him time to develop these kids that he got and see if they can turn it into something. So actually a Thursday game. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I'm also looking forward to seeing um, Georgia.
Hmm.
No no more Carson Beck. We don't. We, I'm seeing what this new Georgia team going to look like without Carson at the helm. Was it beneficial for just to let Carson leave? Go to the transfer portal. Like should have they like forced him to stay a little bit, to stay there another year, or were they ready to move on and they got better? Who knows? So it's going to be a different look with Georgia, and yeah, I think that's it, and also Michigan too, because I need to see what Michigan look like. They had that little controversy, getting all the sanctions, and from the
I
investigation.
got to sign. I got to sign for you to steal. I'm sorry.
From the
You know what I mean?
the signal stealing. I mean, listen, as I stated before, we all know everybody's stealing. We know it happens. You just gotta be smart about it. You just can't just
Right.
you can't just let it be known that you're out here stealing people's signals, and you're catching on. Like, they didn't
Right.
learn from the Patriots. Like, come on now. Like, you can't do. You didn't learn from the Astros. You, you'll be
Now you
doing
want
it.
to play the victim instead of you saying, "Yes, son, our signs was whack. They was easy to steal." Oh, now you
Yeah,
want to play? Oh, they stole our signs. The name of the game is to steal your signs. If you didn't know,
exactly.
it's in the little
Yeah,
fine print. The name of the
it's
game is to
there.
steal your signs. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But yeah, those are interesting games, Browski, because it's a lot of games that
it's so
that are
many.
taking
Yeah,
place. Hmm.
yeah.
If it was up to me, you already know, Browski. Miami, Notre Dame.
I already know you,
But I
Miami.
would I wouldn't want to wait till Sunday though, bro.
I know. You gotta wait always till Sunday.
I wouldn't want to wait till Sunday, is it? But yeah. So week one of the college football season is going to be banana ramas. But here's what you came to see: down at In Sports 2025, part itself, AFC preview. What we're going to do right now is go back in time. How far back in time? Who the hell
How
knows?
about that?
With myself and my co-D in the building, Yada Bear, we're gonna talk about the AFC. We're gonna leave the NFC for next week because I know y'all gonna be like, Browski up hit the Eagles and Lefty up hit the Buccaneers. It would be God blessed right. But for
Of course.
now, we're gonna let Browski do her thing to shine on. Talk about the AFC. Who's gonna win the divisions, Browski? And if you want to, the option is yours. Who you got coming out of the AFC?
Oh wow. So we're gonna start out a little early prediction coming out the AFC. All right. Well, let's start at the the AFC East. That's to me going to be the easiest division to choose from. Um, the Bills, is going to come out the AFC East. Um, second and third places, I think, is going to be a toss up between the three remaining teams. I don't know what to
That's
expect from the
crazy. Kind
Dolphins.
of talking with the three man teams.
Yeah,
Right,
because
right, right.
I mean, we look at this. We look at this division. The Dolphins, the Patriots, the Bills, which is the cream of the crop, and then the Jets. It's like you have two teams that are basically in like rebuild mode. With the Patriots and the Jets, and then the Dolphins is just a question mark because they still basically had the same guys, but the needle hasn't moved. They are very complacent. They are in the same spot. They've been the same
Mm,
team for, I want to say, the past 3 years. They start out a little hot, get cold, warm up some. Two will get hurt. He gets a concussion. Tyreek Hill gets hurt, or Jalen Waddle gets hurt. They have a running game, then they don't have a running game. The
they don't
defense,
have a running game. Right, right, right.
yeah, the defense is always shaky. You know, um, so you don't really you know what to expect with Miami. They are, 8-17. They are, maybe a 9-win team. We don't. It's like they always hover around the same area. Um, I am interested in seeing the development of Drake May in New England. You know, New coach. They got better players. He got a receiver, Stephon Diggs up there, someone to throw to more consistently. Um, so hopefully that defense stay, pretty good. They got the kid, the safety kid, who was pretty good up there. And then the Jets is like, man, the Jets is going to be the Jets. It's like it's like they got Justin Fields up there. He looks absolutely the same. Look like Justin Fields from Chicago. Look like Justin Fields from Pittsburgh. So it don't look like anything changed with Justin Fields except for his uniform.
The color of the jersey, right?
Yeah, so that's the only thing that changed with him. Um, the it's just, I don't know. The Jets to me are still this losing organization that just haven't found their footing. They got a new
Let's
GM
talk about
now.
it. Let's talk about it
New head coach, but it still feels
all the
like the
damn
same
time.
old Jets. Yeah, but
Hmm.
it still feels like the
Hmm.
same old Jets. Nothing really to speak of. They have, all flashy guys there, but Flash don't give you that much. And Sauce Garner don't really. He didn't have the sauce last year. He was out there getting burnt out
Mm-mm.
there. Um,
Mm-mm.
so being the number one corner, it sounds hot when it's not. It sounds great until you get burnt, and he was getting burnt a lot last year. So I definitely see the Bills taking it. I'm just going to jump
Yeah.
out the window and
Yeah.
say, New England number two, Miami three, Jets, last. Um, then we go to uh, AFC South. Again, another division that should be pretty easy um, to win, which I think Houston, on paper, should definitely be the front runner. But again, we see CJ Stroud, had a little slump last year.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, he had injuries, but all teams deal with injuries throughout the season. No one's 100% healthy all year long. Um, we look at the Colts now. they made their decision by starting Daniel Jones, which I think is the correct decision because Anthony Richardson just wasn't hitting it. Okay, he's not it. So I think with Daniel Jones as starting quarterback, it makes the Colts a little bit more interesting. They still have Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr. Um, it goes down to what their defense is looking like, and hopefully they you know improve their offensive line because we know that Daniel Jones is mobile, but he's not as mobile as Anthony, and um, to have him to be successful, he needs a strong running game. So I believe they're gonna be really heavily running with Jonathan Taylor. So I think it's gonna be a bigger workload for him. Um, Tennessee, we don't know. Ken Ward, brand new rookie quarterback, starting out the gate. Um, they don't really have much on the offensive side. It's just really like they just starting from scratch. And then we have Jacksonville, um, Trevor Lawrence. What Trevor Lawrence are we going to get? We're going to get Trevor Lawrence from last year, or we're going to get the Trevor Lawrence from 2 years ago. He's been up and down. Um, he's already on his second coach. We seen that he had weapons and he just couldn't get the job done last year. A lot of people was pointing fingers at Doug Peterson, but to me, I'm like, how can you point the fingers at this guy, where you got to look at the decisions of your quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. You know, putting the ball in incorrect spots, holding the ball too long, taking unnecessary sacks, being very inaccurate with the ball. So hopefully we'll see some type of improvement there. But I still think the Texans should take that division. I think Texans won. I'm gonna say Colts 2, Jags 3, Titans 4. Um, then we go to AFC West. For some reason, the Denver Broncos has been the golden child of the off season with this division, which is kind of surprising. Um, Bo Nix, second year under Sean Payton. Hopefully, we don't see any sophomore slumps. They're very high up on them. Their defense, uh, really good defense last year. One of the biggest gems on the defensive side. Then you also have the Chargers, which everybody second year with Harper there, with Herbert. Um, the Chiefs, you can never count the Chiefs out, especially when they have the duo of, well, you want to say the trio, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the newly engaged
Right.
Travis Kelsey, Travis Swift, if you want to put that out there. And then last but not least, you got the Raiders there that just signed Amari Cooper, which I was shocked that he was still available. Amari Cooper
Mhm.
is not a slouch on the as a wide receiver. He's a great route runner. He has decent hands. Having him out there with Gino, um, so it was interesting. I said, all right, I can see something there that gives him another weapon, um,
Mhm.
to add to the repertoire, and we definitely want to see what Genty gives you. Um, so this division is a little funny, but I just can't count the Chiefs out, because the
I hear
Chiefs will
you.
always find a way to win, you know, and as disturbing that is, it doesn't bother me much because we you saw what we did to the Chiefs,
Right.
but I would have to go with Chiefs one. I think it's not gonna be. Um, they're not gonna run away with the division. I think it's gonna be a really tight race within the division
Mm-hmm.
between the Chiefs, the Broncos, and I will also throw in the Chargers because the Chargers, you know, seem like one of these teams that can like disrupt it. You know, just out of nowhere, you're like, wait a minute, it's a three-way tie. You know, so I'm gonna go Chiefs. I'm gonna go Chiefs one, Broncos two, Chargers, and the Raiders. And then last but not least, you know, the North, the toughest division of football. I would definitely have to say that. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland Bengals. I'm gonna have to go with Baltimore because I don't believe in the Steelers with Aaron Rodgers. Don't believe that in that at all. Um, the Bengals, to me, uh, issues on the defensive side of the ball. They finally paid, you know,
Trey
their
Henderson.
defensive end Henderson. They finally paid him. Like I don't know what was the holdout for. It wasn't like they was giving them crazy money anyway. Like oh, he's going to reset, you know, the
And
defensive
but
end
that
price.
franchise, the Bengals, they don't want to spend no money.
They don't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't want to spend any money, and they act like they broke the bank on this guy when
Yeah.
they. I actually think he could have got more somewhere else. He probably would have
Somewhere
got more
else.
somewhere
Yep.
else. You
Because
know,
Tampa Bay was in the
um,
cut.
cool. Yeah. So you know, you got Joe Burrow. You know, you got your duo and T Higgins and Jamar Chase, and then you got Chase Brown running back. But you know, their issues always been like their offensive line. You know, it always ends up in shambles. And right now, I don't think the offensive line is as healthy as it has been. You know, I feel like they could have improved, and they never seem to improve on the offensive line. You keep saying
Mm.
that you know you got this quarterback and Joe Burrow supposed to be your franchise guy, but you don't protect him. He's the
Right.
most valuable player on your team, and he's unprotected. You don't protect him at all. So that's why I gotta stick with Baltimore as one. Can't doubt Lamar. You know, still got Derrick Henry, still got Mark Andrews, still got Likely. You know, they still got all their weapons. Um, then the Browns is the Browns. You know, I can't believe in a team that would start a 40-year-old quarterback. Still is
But
the
they,
Browns.
but they kept
Same.
and they kept the two rookies.
Kept the two rookies, traded Kenny Pickett
Yeah.
to the Raiders, um, which was crazy because when I heard that they was making a trade, instantly
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Shador. From my mind, I said, "Oh, Shador's going to the Raiders," because to me that makes sense for both teams. You know, get Shador out of here, keep the it's a move the distraction. Even though he's not causing any of the distraction, he's not causing
Right.
any of that. But the Browns are. So I figured that they was going to trade him to the Raiders, which would have been perfect spot for him to learn behind Gino. He don't have to play right away. He could learn. But for
And
them
Pete
to say
Carroll, the coach.
yes, and PKL's the coach who knows how to um, who knows how to shape a raw, mobile quarterback that's really talented with their feet and teaching them how to incorporate throwing the ball and running at the same time. So I thought that would be the perfect place for him. I thought from the get go that the Raiders should have drafted Shador at some point
Hmm.
during the draft, but they chose not to. So I was like, oh, this is the second chance he's going to go there. And then it says, it's Kenny Pickett. And I said, wow, that's crazy. So Kenny's out of there. I look at Kenny like, bro, you're just going to be bouncing from team to team to team. You
Mm.
know, you got a Super Bowl ring out of it, you know, but you
And I guess that would make it all worthwhile. You got a
yeah,
Super Bowl
yeah,
ring out of it.
He can always he will always be known as a Super Bowl champion, Kenny Pickett.
Can't take that away, right?
Can't take that
That's
away
right.
from him. But in that division, like I said, I got Baltimore, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. And I think the team that's going to come out of the AFC, I'm going to go with Baltimore. I'm going to go Baltimore.
I hear you, Browski. So Browski's AFC pick is the Baltimore Ravens,
Yeah.
and listen, it's subject to change. You know what I mean?
It's definitely subject to change.
So, look at Kim. She said it's definitely something to gain, son.
It's
Um,
definitely subject to change.
I'm going to follow Browski's lead and take it division by division. I'm going to start off with the AFC East.
Hmm.
Um, the easy thing would say the Buffalo Bills. The history says the Buffalo Bills. The regular season says the Buffalo Bills are the champions of the regular season. Um, I want to say somebody else, but in this case, particular case, you really can't. Because
You can't.
Browski put it so succinctly. She was like, "You don't know what you got in the Miami Dolphins. You don't know if they're going to be an 8-win team, a 9-win team, but you do know one thing: they're going to be scrambling for some help come week 16, 17, 18,
Yeah.
right? So New England, I, I'm not mad at them because Browski brought it up again in their secondary. Jabril Peppers, they got the rookie. Like they're gonna make some noise, but I think it's not gonna be this season, right?
Yeah.
They're not gonna be as bad as people think,
Mm-mm.
right? But they're gonna be probably a under 500 team. That's how I look at the Patriots, right? Then we talk about the Jets. The Jets are actually to me the wild card in this division. I want to believe in Aaron Glenn and say it's a new regime going on. I just really can't get over the hump. Justin Fields is not, but he's reunited with his man at wide receiver from Ohio State.
Elijah Moore.
So hopefully that could, light a fire up under, and the Jets have to get back to being the Jets. They had a decent running game. They got dope wide receivers. Their offensive line is decent. Their defense is supposed to be really, really good. Where is that? So I think, in my opinion, when you talk about the AFC East, Buffalo is going to
Garrett
probably
Wilson.
go undefeated in the division. They're going to win 6 games in the division. Out of
Thank you.
division is where Buffalo's going to probably stumble. But Buffalo schedule, right? Buffalo has to play. Start off with Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
At the Jets, Miami, New Orleans, New England. That's probably 3 wins. At Atlanta, that's probably another win. Then they have a bye. Then they're at Carolina. They play Kansas City on November 2nd. At Miami, Tampa Bay, November 16th. At Houston, at Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, at New England, at Cleveland, Philadelphia, and the last game is against the Jets. Now, somebody will say, well, yeah, that's 13 wins right there. I don't trust the Buffalo Bills. Never have. That
No.
late season run right there, they got at Houston, at Pittsburgh, Cincinnati at home, at New England, at Cleveland, and then you've got Philadelphia on the 28th of December at home. So I feel like they need to clean up with the easy. Look at this. After Baltimore, it's the Jets, Miami, New Orleans, New England, Atlanta. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
After the Baltimore, they open up at home against Baltimore. It's at the Jets, Miami, New
Yeah.
Orleans, New England, at Atlanta, and then they have a bye. And then when they come back from the bye, it's at Carolina.
Yeah, so that should be win, 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 win.
So I mean, Buffalo's set up to do some things, but Buffalo's going to be Buffalo. I got Buffalo winning the division. I got the Jets finishing second. I don't think Miami. I think Miami's going to crumble this year. And I think that Mike McDaniel's the situation. Miami should be the kings of that division for all that
They
they've went
should.
through. for all they've done, for all they got, they should be the kings of that division, but they're not. So that's a fault of their own. So I'm saying Buffalo's going to run the division. The Jets are going to be the one that's going to come up and finish second, and Miami and New England have to work it out. Um, the AFC North. This division to me is easy to pick. I do not start from the bottom up. We already know what it is with Cleveland. Cleveland's going to go like 5-12, right? Then comes Pittsburgh. Here's the season where Mike Tomlin might go under 500. You got Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Well, we haven't really seen him play like in 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are saying, myself included, is that Aaron Rodgers' best years are behind him. Do they need a great Aaron Rodgers to be productive? Hell yes.
Yeah.
They do not need a mediocre Aaron Rodgers, a stumble bum Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers this season plays at the Jets, the opening game. Then they play Green Bay October 26th. So I think their schedule is, look at this, Browski. At the Jets,
Yeah.
Seattle, at New
Yeah.
England, Minnesota in Dublin, Ireland. Then they're by.
Yeah.
Then it's Cleveland, at Cincinnati, Green Bay, Indianapolis, at the Chargers, Cincinnati, at Chicago, Buffalo, at Baltimore, Miami, at Detroit, at Cleveland, and they close out the season with Baltimore.
Yeah. No.
That's screaming 7-10 all day. That's just
No.
me, Kenny.
That's definitely giving me 7-10, 6-11. You know,
Yeah,
and
that's 6-11 all day vibes. But I
and,
think
and,
back
and
to
you know what else it's giving
right,
me?
right. Mm-hmm.
It's giving me Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin having issues. It's giving
Around
stories in the
Halloween.
locker room.
Around
Yep.
Halloween.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like Baltimore is they were a Mark Andrews drop away from doing some really big things, AFC Championship, all that. You got to
Yeah.
get past that. Lamar's got to get past that playoff thing, but it wasn't his fault. It wasn't. I'm not
You
going to
gotta
put
catch
that on
that.
Lamar, right?
You gotta
But
catch
things
that
happen.
pass.
Where am I at with the Cincinnati Bengals? Where I've always been. They finally signed Trey Hendrickson. I think, is that going to make them coagulate and draw guys? Right? I don't think so. I think that they'll
No.
win
No.
12 games. They'll win 12 games, but they're going to lose the games that matter the most. As much as I like Joe Burrow, much as I like Jamar Chase, I just don't think that Cincinnati's got that. They want it with Jamar Chase. They want it with Joe Burrow. They want that connection to work. But for some reason, I'm just not there with Cincinnati.
Something
I'm
about
just
it,
not.
right?
I'm not there with them yet. Yeah, I just don't think until they can win, you know, until they can maybe sweep Baltimore in the regular season, maybe
I don't think that's gonna happen this year.
they're going to sweep Cleveland. They're going to sweep. They might split with Pittsburgh, but until they
I,
really can show that they can beat Baltimore,
yeah,
you know what I mean? So my thing is going to be Baltimore. The lesser of two evils. I'm going to pick Cincinnati second, and Cleveland and Pittsburgh can figure it out.
hmm
Um, the AFC South. Now, this is an interesting division to me because anything could happen. Which CJ Stroud are we going to get from the Houston Texans? We already know that Daniel Jones is going to do his thing in Indianapolis. He's got pieces. He had pieces with the Giants, but that we won't talk about that. He's got pieces in Indianapolis. A fresh start, right? Maybe a winnable playoff wild card division run in him, maybe because in the NFC
maybe.
East he was devastated in the NFC East. But this division gives him a better shot because again, Jacksonville, Tennessee, you know, um, Houston really, because last year at this time, Browski was like Houston going to the Super Bowl. Houston then went and signed everybody on both sides of the ball. They were set. CJ Stroud was ready to do work. but it didn't
Yeah.
happen. So this season, for me, for the Houston Texans, is a redemption for D'Amico Ryans, for the Houston Texans defense, for C.J. Stroud. They're gonna have to me for me to believe in them, even though they had a chance against Kansas City in that playoff game till they didn't. Um, Houston Texans are gonna have to really like double digits. Nah, double digits is 10. They're gonna have to win like 12 games to impress me, to really
Yeah.
put them in that echelon, that upper echelon, Browski, of AFC teams that we talk about like that. So I like Houston. Um, I'm gonna jump out the window. Jacksonville is gonna win 9 games. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Let's look at the let's
I
look at
said,
their
when you see
schedule.
now, when you
Let's
see
look at
now game,
Jacksonville's schedule. Carolina at
okay.
Cincinnati, Houston, at San Francisco, Kansas City, Seattle, the Rams in London, then they're bye. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games before they're bye.
Yeah, where you see
Two and
nine at?
five, 2 and 5. Yeah, probably about 2 and 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're gonna lose 9 games.
We got at Vegas, at Houston. That Vegas game is winnable, actually, if you ask me. At Vegas, at Houston, the Chargers, at Arizona, at Tennessee, Indianapolis, the Jets, at Denver, and at Indianapolis and Tennessee again. They can't win 5 games out of that. They can't win 5 games out of that. Tennessee, Arizona, Tennessee, Indianapolis twice. The Jets, they're gonna go on the road to Denver and get stomped. But then they close out with at Indianapolis and Tennessee.
Yeah, but I mean, you telling me that you think the Jags are that much better than the Colts? I
I
think they're
think
a more
that
sustained team. I think the Colts have got a
I,
better running game.
I think that the Jags um, quarterbacks, and you both know that's not saying nothing out of the ordinary. It's going to be predicated on the quarterback play. With Trevor Lawrence has been talked about as somebody who's on the precipice of being that guy for years now. Daniel Jones, this is the redemption story. They're both going to be chasing C.J. Stroud. Which C.J. Stroud are we going to get? Is he going to worry about what happened last year, or is he going to keep moving and become better, become that great C.J. Stroud that we got a glimpse of, right? So my division pick for the AFC South is going to be the Houston Texans. I think Jacksonville and Indianapolis are going to be fighting each other, right?
Hmm.
Those last games, those last Jacksonville games, they might be have to play spoiler. Who knows? Because either Indianapolis or Houston may be doing, for positioning and things of that nature. So I'm gonna put some respect on Jacksonville, right? I am. Um, the AFC West. This is where it gets interesting for me. It's Denver Broncos all day. I'm tired of the Kansas City Chiefs. Travis Kelsey has been mad and screaming and bitching for a couple of years now. His stats, he didn't have 1,000 yards last year. He didn't have 1,000 yards the year before. Last year, he had 97 catches, right? That's not a bad season. For some tight ends, that's a career, right?
Yeah.
I think this year is going to be the year that everything catches up to Kansas City. I think that the Denver Broncos, with Bo Nix, all he has to do is what, Basky? Manage the game. That's all we ask him to do.
Yeah.
He's coming into this season with a high power offense. He's coming into the season with a defense that's stacked. Nobody wants to throw the ball at Patrick Surtain the third side, right? I think that Sean Payton is laying in the cut because it's a arms race between the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers to knock
Hmm.
off the Chiefs because we're not really the Raiders on the up. They're not ready yet. So again, for me, here's my shock pick: the winner of the AFC West is a basketball. The Denver Broncos. The
Okay.
Denver Broncos are going to win the AFC West. They're going to win 12 games. They're going to win the AFC West. We will revisit these picks, absolutely. I think coming out of the AFC West, the AFC playoffs are going to be wild. super wild. Um, I'm gonna say it because the team that I'm gonna pick to come out the AFC don't got nothing to lose. The other teams got Baltimore got something to lose, Buffalo got something to lose, right? And when you talk about the Houston Texans, how far they really gonna go, right? Kansas City Chiefs have the most to lose. So the Denver Broncos, I'm a Bo Nix dude. Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos are gonna be in the Super Bowl, and there you have it.
Okay.
The, and like Browski said earlier, those picks are subject to change.
I know that's right.
I know that's right, son. But again, I feel like Denver Broncos they surprised everybody. You know what I mean? And Browski mentioned it, the sophomore drinks thing. But I think that Bo Nix is gonna bide his time. He's not gonna do too much. He's not gonna do. He's gonna do what's asked of him by Sean Payton, and he's got some things to kind of fall back on. He's not doing it by himself. That's the thing for me with the Denver Broncos. You know what I mean? I feel like, with what they've got offensively, they can make some noise. Offensive line, Cortland Sutton, you know what I mean? And again, they're doing what they need to do. My concern for the AFC West is watching Ashton Genty. He's got two commercials already.
And he definitely do.
Um,
He didn't really flash in the preseason for me.
Right. But we'll see how that goes. So that's our 2025 AFC preview. I'm gonna do what I need to do and get on that. We did our NCAA. Let's get some baseball popping. Yeah we got some time. Let's get some baseball popping. Basky, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Hey, and what I tell you, it's like we just can't get a win in City Field. I don't know. Phillies in City Field. It's like our Achilles heel right now. Bottom of the
You get
fifth.
Browski with the bars. You get Browski with the bars.
bottom of the fifth. We already had to go to our bullpen. We got Kirkland in, and we're down 5-2. It's with 2 men on, 1 out. So hopefully we can get this ground ball so this guy can get out this inning. It's just not looking good for us. I don't know, man. The Mets. We hate the Mets and we hate playing in City Field. But I'm not jumping out the window because
Right.
we still 6 games up on these cats. We still got a couple more weeks of baseball left. We're gonna see them again at home. Um,
And
you
you play
know,
with house money. You got a 6 game
yeah,
lead.
we are about 6 game right now. We the number 2 seed, so we still have that bye. That's what's important to me. I want us to just keep the bye. Would I like to catch up with Milwaukee and take the number 1 overall seed? Of course, because who wouldn't want to do that?
Right.
Um, I'm looking forward to us having back to back NL East division champs because it's been a while since we was able to um, say that. It was wonderful winning division last year. It'd be even better to win it this year because there will be no questions. Last year was but the Braves is hurt. Everybody from the Braves is hurt. Oh well, the Mets, you know, did what the Mets do at the end, but nah, I need us to not be playing with magic. I want us to play, legit baseball. And like right now, we have an uphill battle with our ace, Zach Willer going down for the rest of the season. He's going to be out. He had blood clots. He had to get the surgery to something with his veins. So he's going to be gone for like 8 months. But we have a strong enough rotation where we should be able to maintain what we have going on, um, for this postseason, and we have a good enough bullpen to keep us afloat. We just gotta make sure that the bats don't go cold. That's had always been our issue in the postseason. For some reason, it seems like Soon as the postseason hit, the Phillies don't hit. So that's the problem. Hasn't been the pitching, it's been the hitting. So like I said, we're not jumping out the window. We're just gonna, ride the wave and, get prepared for next for the postseason. So now I know it's a different story up I-95 in the South Bronx. Guys in the pinstripes. It's a different situation up there.
Yeah,
What y'all
it's
what it
sticky.
looking like?
Like where we are right now is just kind of like having to, win, every series. We got to win every series. We can't, our backs up against the proverbial wall, right? It's late August. We're looking up at the division. You know what I mean? When we should be looking down at the rest of the division. Um, it's dank and musty around these parts. We got to get improvement for everybody. We can't wait. Rely on Garrett Cole no more. We know Clark Schmidt's gone for the year, so we got to work with what we got, right? The team is actually starting to, hit a little bit. You know what I mean? I like the fact that we can put John Carlos Stanton in the outfield now. You know what I mean? Give him some play out there, so that provides a little bit longer lineup with his bat in the lineup. We also can stick Ben Rice behind the plate. That keeps his bat in the lineup. You know what I mean? So again, we've got that, but the pitching is where I'm at with it. Devin Williams, the last couple of outings, it looked okay. You know what I mean? But do we trust him in October? Nah. Nope. Because he's not going to instantly flip the switch after he's had a garbage year. You know what I mean? We're going to have to rely on a lot of those trade additions that we got, the Bednars of the world, the Ahmed Rosarios of the world, those guys, have to come through and be those linchpins to kind of get us to where we need to go. Are we talking World Series? No, because I don't think that we are one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the American League, not by a long shot. I don't jump out the window. I'm not going to. No, 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 no. If we had to play Detroit in the best of 5 right now, we'd lose 3-1. If we had to play Houston right now, I think we'd lose. If we had to play, let's say, a Boston Red Sox or Toronto, and that's in our division.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just looking at if we could get close, because last year was in the World Series. You don't get no closer than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I just feel like I'm prepared for whatever happens. I feel like we did we ran with what we could run with, and we got what we got. Now I will say this: this is the last season of Aaron Boone. Might
Oh.
be the last season of Brian Cashman. It might be the last season of the Steinbrenner men running the family, running the family business. Because I think Jennifer Steinbrenner is ready to and I listen, man. I'm not I listen, anything that would help at this point, I don't care who it is. Right? Because you know who it ain't gonna be. It ain't gonna be George Steinbrenner. So again, at the end of the day, you just want to make moves. Why all these other teams getting these guys that are contributing from the door? You see what's going on in Boston? They got like 5 or 6 prospects from their AAA squad that's coming in. And Roman Anthony, right? Christian
Hmm.
Campbell, right? They got a couple of pitchers, right? Like the
Yeah.
Reds, where do they find these dudes? Right? These are the same dudes that the Yankees look at and the other teams
Yeah.
look at. The Yankees say, no, we ain't interested. And he goes somewhere else and gets busy. So, I say that to say this, Bowski. We make the playoffs. It's gonna be cool. I'm not looking, down the line and no, we're gonna win the World Series or anything like that. Just don't get swept. That, that's all I can ask at this point. Do not get swept. That's it. That's all. Anything else you want to talk about regarding baseball, Bowski?
Um.
You see the schedule for next year came out, right?
Oh, yes, I did. Um. Next year. Oh, how can I not bring this up? We could get to play in the Field of Dreams game. Come on now, we got the All Star game in Philly. Like it's gonna be popping here next year. I'm excited for the Field of Dreams though. Like I always thought that was pretty dope. Playing out there. It's nice to see my team finally get their chance. I don't know what type of I don't know what uniform they're gonna wear. Cause we know back then the Phillies was a very racist team. They was real racist. But it's exciting. For them to participate in that, and of course the All Star game. Being here in Philly, definitely looking into trying to get down to some of the festivities down
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Um,
that would be dope.
yeah, looking into like home run derby and going to the All Star game. I would love to go to the All Star game. So just waiting to
You
see
heard
what
it
tickets are
first.
on sale
We
this
gonna
week.
get a GoFundMe up for Ted Dabrowski to the All Star game.
Here we
You know what I
go. Like
mean?
I'm looking forward, to seeing that here. But yeah, next year's schedule out. The Phillies open up finally at home against Texas. So that should be interesting. I like that what they had the Jackie Robinson Day, the Roberto Clemente Day, where all teams are playing. 4th of July, where all teams are playing. I like days like that because that means I'm getting baseball all day, you know, and I'm getting a lot of good games. And I love that they really starting to highlight like rivalries because I love that. Put those rivalry games on prime time.
Yeah, so you can beat the hell out of the Pirates in the in the
I don't want us to play the Pirates like that. See, to me, that's not a rivalry. Like that's not us. To me, it's either the Mets or the Braves.
Right,
That's the rivalry. Like we want to see Yankees, Red Sox. We want to see Dodgers, Padres.
right.
We want to see those teams, but hopefully they get it together and just make it more exciting because rivalry week is generally like during like the dog days of summer, so you need something to kind of like break up, you know, that little, how it is during the
hmm
season. But
hmm
yeah, I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
The Yankees open up March 25th against the San Francisco Giants. Subway Series September 11th, which is gonna be. I
That's
can
gonna be
see it.
crazy.
I can see it already. It's gonna be 25-year anniversary of
Yeah,
World Trade Center, um, Yankee Stadium Subway Series. It's gonna be electric. It's
it's gonna
gonna
be
be
crazy.
surreal. It's gonna be sad. It's gonna be all of that at the same time because you know how we do. And the 25th anniversary is gonna be a whole big production and all of this. And the game is gonna be the game is supposed to be the event, but I think that around this Subway Series, which is actually gonna be the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th of September next season,
Yeah,
um, the game is gonna be kind of the September 11th game is going to be that. But the 12th and the
yeah,
13th is going to be like, whatever, you know what I mean? But that
yeah. That
September
September
11th
11th
ticket,
game is gonna
that
be
ticket
like,
compared to the 12th and the 13th is going to be different. But yeah, the rivalry week is back. Haven't heard anything in regards to international series or anything like that. But
they ain't say anything
a
about
lot
it.
of the schedule is out for 2026. MLB is not playing. They said, "Yo, we got to get this thing out and let people know so they can make their plans early." All
Yep,
right. This is the part of the show that Browski loves. He tells all her friends downtown Philly when they go to visit the Liberty Bell that get down on it is the best part of the show.
best part of the show.
When they go visit the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia and all that. What are we getting down on Browski this week?
I gotta get down on Penn State. Um, they schedule. It's kind of weak.
Kind of weak, son.
Kind of weak,
Kind of
for them
weak,
to be
son.
the number two team in the country. You're not playing anybody. When I look at their schedule, they open up with Nevada, then they got Florida
For the
International,
international, yeah.
Villanova.
Oh God,
Oh,
right,
then yeah,
right, Rusty.
Villanova.
Like, what the hell is
Then
this?
oh my God, here we go. Then they
Right.
play Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, UCLA, Northwestern,
Mm-hmm.
Iowa. Oh, wait a minute. Finally, Ohio State.
On the road.
Yeah, Indiana, Michigan State, Nebraska, and Rutgers. That's not a strong um, schedule. No
Yeah,
Michigan.
this strength of schedule is gonna be
That
real,
strength of schedule
real
is
crazy, right, Browski? Real crazy.
when you're playing Villanova and Temple and Florida International. Like you play three ranked teams. Your first ranked team is Oregon, and that's like in week like 6.
Mhm.
Oregon is in what week? What, one, two, three, four?
It's their
Week
fourth. It's their
5.
fourth game. It's their
No,
fourth
it's their
game.
fifth game. It's their fifth game.
They play Nevada, FIU, Villanova, and Oregon.
Villanova. Oh yeah, on the 27th September. That's their.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's their fourth game.
Mm-hmm.
Like then you play Ohio State and Indiana back to back, but you still got Rutgers on your schedule. You got Northwestern, Michigan State. Like when you're talking about considering being one of the top two teams in the
Right.
nation,
How you gonna say
I
that with
I,
that
I
intimate
need
ass schedule? You
yeah, I need you to be like I need you
that
to be
intimate
playing
ass
people.
schedule, right?
Yeah, so I need you know
Tasty
it's,
cake
I
ass
know it's all
schedule.
about money. It's all about money. And I just need the NCAA to really step in and look at like these top schools' schedule. They need to play each other more. I shouldn't have to wait to the playoffs so that I can get like a Penn State and I don't know Alabama. Like what's going on?
Mm,
But I digress. That schedule, that strength of schedule, very questionable.
very. Now that you think
So
about it, very.
very questionable. Maybe question the number 2 seeding a lot. But that's what I'm getting
Mm.
down on. Well, what you getting down on?
I'm getting down on the fact that we got a lot of players in this college. We're gonna keep the theme, the college football theme. Um, a lot of football players that expect to have breakout seasons. And I'm going to tell you one football player in particular and one team who I'm going to keep an eye on this season. That's the Nebraska Cornhuskers and their quarterback Dylan Raiola. I think that he's a 5-star recruit. He's playing
Mhm.
at home in front of his home people in Nebraska. Um, I think that last year he was a freshman. He was kind of, off and on at times, you know what I mean, which is expected out of a freshman. But the way
Yep.
they bigged this kid up, right? And if Nebraska, you know your history. The Nebraska Cornhuskers are one of the most powerful college football, teams ever. You know what I mean? All time. Dr. Tom had his squads, so I
Yes.
think that Matt Rule is gonna kind of like big him up and put the confidence in him, put the pieces around him. The coach that he got for the offense now. Um, he had him for interim. Dana, I can't, his last name is killing me. Holgerson, because it's like Mike Holmgren. Holgerson, right? Now he's going to run the offense. I just want to see what Dylan Raiola could do. And if Nebraska could be one of those teams, you just mentioned they play Penn State. So if Nebraska can kind of like pull off a couple of upsets here or upset there and throw a monkey wrench into the thing, we gonna be really laughing at Penn State. You mean to tell me you had FIU, Nevada, right, and some other crumb cake, no disrespect, school on your schedule, and you still couldn't finish undefeated? The biggest game of the season is Ohio State on the road. James Franklin gonna have to really find a new job if you can't finish this. If you can't get this done,
Yeah. No, that's true. If
you
he
know.
can't beat, I feel like if he can't beat Ohio State this year, he got to find another job. Like the thing about you know Big Ten football, when you're when you are the head coach of Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan, you have to beat each other. If
Mm-hmm.
you can't beat Ohio State, then you have to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ohio State, you can't beat Michigan, you gotta
Let's
go.
go, Browski. Let's go.
Michigan can't beat Ohio State, then you gotta go. And it seems like for the past 3 to 4 years, Penn State can't beat neither one of them.
But
Even
they're
when
still
Michigan
up
was
there. Yep.
unranked.
Let's go, Kim. Mm-hmm.
Even when it was unranked. Like they can't beat either one. So now you just have Ohio State on the schedule this year. You better beat Ohio State or your
You gotta go
bags
to the
better
big
be packed.
house. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Do you think it's being the word that Michigan's starting that Bryce Underwood? They're starting that quarterback, the 5-star kid, Bryce Underwood at Michigan, starting.
Um, I mean, it's 5 star. They brung him. He came there. He should start. He should start. I look at 5 star recruits the same way I look at first round draft pick. If I draft you number one in the first round as a quarterback, you're starting. I
You come into
drafted
play, right?
you to start. I didn't bring you here to sit behind and learn
Right, to
somebody.
learn and develop
Oh,
and
he's
all
a
that stuff.
project.
Right,
No,
right.
he's a 5 star recruit. You come here to play.
And you come
We have
as a five
nobody
star, you
else.
come ready. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are ready to hop right in to
Mm-hmm.
start. That's the way
Right.
I look at it. So
That's what's up.
I didn't blink an eye.
Word up. That's what's up. Absolutely. We in the building, man, down at In Sports Talk. Um, you finish your get down on it?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, we finishing up, getting ready towards the end of the show. What we got in this? What we got going on? Let's do it in the chat. What we got going on in the chat? What Wataguan in the chat? What's happening? How you living? What's going on with you? Okay. Talking to myself. Okay. How you doing? Peace. Says okay. That must be me talking to myself out this. Peace out in the God go blue. All right. Peace. 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 Peace.
Yeah.
That's the most high. Most high in the building. Peace, son. Peace. 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 Absolutely. Yeah, we get ready to get up out of here. What am I going to get down on?
Yeah, what are
I'm
you gonna get
getting
down?
down on. I got a new word in the lexicon. When we get towards the end of this football season, oh yeah, that's right. The Most High, he's the Michigan dude. That's right. Oh man, here we go. Right. Okay. I see you, Most. I see you. Um, when we talk about this particular football season right here, let's get ready to come up. I hope everybody cheers for their team. They have fun. They do this. They do that. They do the third. But understand, it's only one. It ain't three, four, five. It's one. Now, there might be 12 invitations to a particular party, right, Browski?
Hmm.
It might be 12 invitations to another particular party, right? But there's only one. Just think there's only one Super Bowl ring with wings coming out there. I ain't never getting over that. I'm never getting over that, son. It's a Super Bowl ring running around here with wings coming out there. But you know what? I'm said it before and I'm gonna say it again. When the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the Super Bowl this year, we're gonna have smoke coming out of our rings. You hear me, most? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers gonna have smoke coming out their rings. Down in Sports Talk, man, every Tuesday night. Rowski is looking at me like she's getting ready to call the psych ward on me, but it's all good. Shout out to my man Most High. We got to chop it up, my dude. Before we go, I had a very, very, very interesting conversation with my man Florida Boy Jay over the weekend. Very, 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 very knowledgeable dude, right? We talked like by the time we finished talking, like an hour and a half went by, and we was just talking about everything. But he did not want to talk about Florida State. He didn't want to talk about that. He talked about Jacksonville all day and Duval and what he thought that Travis Hunter was going to do and this and that. But he did not want to talk about Florida State. That's okay. Alabama is going to, and I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Because we
Okay.
already talked about Kalen DeBoer and they ready to wreak some havoc. And that's a
Mhm.
team that nobody's talking about. Alabama. You know what I'm
Nope.
saying? But it is what it is, and it is what it ain't. But what it ain't gonna be is Florida State having that same uh, nah. They're the low guy on the totem pole. It's gonna be all about it's all about the Miami Hurricane and the Florida Gators. Right? Might be about South Florida too.
It
You
could
know what I
be.
mean? You know what I'm saying? So again, that's that. We about to get up out of here. Yo, Most High Stay Connected, fam. That's Yada Bear over there, aka High Ceilings, aka rain, sleet, hail, or snow. Yada Bear is gonna let you know what time of day it really be. And I'm left-handed man at RM Desk on Twitter, which is this right now. You already know the vibes. And NFC preview next week, right? The fighting words will commence. Make sure you tune in because you already know Eagles and the Phillies and the Eagles and the Phillies both can't mess with this.
They can't even mess with that.
Y'all, this what's up, yo. We out of here, yo. We talk to y'all next week. Don't go nowhere, bros. We out, and y'all be peace. Enjoy the rest of your summer. What's left of it.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.